I see him again in the parking lot when we get to the ER, and when we walk into checking in at the hospital. Again, I'm still on the phone with Jade's mom, and we go to the check-in, and they're asking, who are we here to see? I say Jade Benning, and they ask what's her date of birth. But they were asking our relation to the patient, and I said that's my best friend, and he told them that this was his girlfriend. And I had never heard that before. And so at this point, I'm very, very confused. I'm still trying to process and understand what I just heard on the phone. So then they asked for the patient's birthday. And since this is your girlfriend, tell her Jade's birthday. And he couldn't tell them her birthday.
He said she was his girlfriend. Then they asked him when she was born. He could not answer. The woman standing next to him, the one who described herself as nothing more than a best friend, gave them the date without hesitation. That is where this is going. But to understand why that moment carries the weight it does, we need to go back a few hours. Back to an apartment where food was on the stove, canvases were off to the side, and a man sat at a kitchen island, shuffling Uno cards. Nobody was playing, just shuffling.
What did you do when you got there?
When we got there, we said hi, and Jade started packing up the food, and she put the foil on it, put it in a bag, and kind of set it off to the side. And we were just chit-chatting about what they were gonna paint, and we talked about going to a concert, and we were laughing at the fact that I didn't know how to play spades. So that was pretty much the basis of the conversation.
And can you describe Jade's kind of kitchen area when you got there? Was there food out that they were eating, or kind of what was the setup at the point you got there?
When I got there, the food was on the stove. It was kind of packaged. The canvases were kind of off to the side. The island was pretty clear. I didn't, and Jade had a glass of a pink drink, and Blaze wasn't drinking anything. There was no cup in front of Blaze.
And did you drink anything while you were there?
I didn't drill.
Was that something you brought with you?
I did not.
What was Mr. Taylor doing, and where was he at in the room?
He was sitting beside Jade at the island, and he was engaging with some of the conversations, and he was just shuffling Uno cards the whole time.
It is the kind of detail that means nothing until it means everything. This is the silent objection. A witness took the stand. She described in sequence what she saw and heard on the night a pregnant woman named Jade Benning stopped being able to speak. This script is about what that witness said, about what the record shows, and about one moment at a hospital check-in desk that required no commentary from anyone in that courtroom to mean exactly what it meant. The evidence does the talking here. It always does. There are 4 people in this story. Jade Benning was pregnant. She had already named her daughter Ivy. On the evening in question, she was planning to paint something for the nursery. She was described by the witness as happy when they left, very excited to spend the rest of the night with Blaze. That is the last uncomplicated description of Jade Benning in this testimony. Blaze Taylor is the defendant. On that evening, he sat beside Jade at the kitchen island. He did not have a drink in front of him. Jade had a pink drink. The witness confirmed she brought nothing herself and drank nothing while she was there. The record is clean on that point. Miss Jackson is the witness. She had known Jade well enough to be called her best friend. She is not a lawyer. She is not an investigator. She is a young woman who stopped at a gas station on the way home and received a phone call. On the stand, she answered questions the way people answer when they are...
And did Mr. Jones, did he interact with Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, ever so slightly. It was kind of like a conversation just in the kitchen.
approximately how long y'all stayed?
Probably like a little over 15 minutes, like 15 to 30 minutes.
And during that time, did anything seem amiss to you?
Nothing too alarming except the comment he made about his artwork that he was gonna make because the whole base.
Jade said she was going to make something for Ivy. She did not know exactly what yet, but she knew what it was for. Then the witness was asked what Blaze said he was going to paint. He said he was going to paint a black hole. He said he would call it Midnight. He said, and this is in the record, the further you look, the deeper you go.
What did Miss Benning say she was planning on painting?
She said that she was gonna paint something for the baby's room. She didn't know what yet, but she knew that's what she was gonna paint, something to hang in Ivy's room. And when I asked Blaze what he was gonna paint, he told me he was gonna paint a black hole. And I was like, a black hole? And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna call it Midnight. The further you look, the deeper you'll go. And I was like, oh, okay, But I was like, well, why don't we just add like a little bit of white to the, canvas to make it look a little lively. And that was kind of that. But it was a very dark demeanor about this painting after Jade said that she was gonna make something for the baby's room.
The witness described his demeanor as very dark around that comment, especially coming right after Jade had spoken about the baby's room. The prosecution offered the statement as evidence of the defendant's state of mind. The defense objected. The court overruled it. The statement came in. A man's artistic vision, described as infinite darkness, on an evening when the mother of his unborn child was planning something to hang above a crib. What that means is not this channel's determination to make. It is in the record. The record speaks. Miss Jackson and Keontae left shortly after. Jade texted back. She seemed fine, happy. Miss Jackson went to Keontae's house, ate, and then left.
And after you left, did you communicate with Jade after you left?
Yes.
And you don't have to tell me what you said, but how did you communicate with her?
I text her.
And did she respond?
Yes.
And did you have a couple of texts back and forth?
Yes.
And can you describe Jade's demeanor when you left?
She seemed really happy, very excited to spend the rest of the night with Blaze.
She stopped at a gas station on the way home. She was walking back to her car when her phone rang. This is where the evening changes.
And what, if anything, happened while you were there?
I was pumping gas. And as I was walking back to my car, I get a phone call from Jade. And I answered it, and I was like, hello? Just normal. And she immediately starts saying, what did you do? What did you put in my drink? Then I heard her say, Blaze, you're scaring me. And he was like, you're scaring me. And she was like, I know you put something in my drink. She's like, I knew my drink tasted funny.
Jade called from her own phone. The call lasted 6 minutes and 9 seconds. That duration is in the testimony. Miss Jackson answered the way you answer a call from your best friend, normally. What she heard was not normal. Jade was not speaking to Miss Jackson when the call connected. She was speaking to Blaze. Miss Jackson could hear both of them. The line was open. Both people were present.
Jackson, I want to kind of go back at the beginning of the call, when you could understand Jade. Can you describe, based off of your experience, how did she sound?
She sounded like very scared. She did not sound like herself. She sounded like she needed help.
That fact carries significant weight in everything that follows. What Jade said, relayed by Miss Jackson under oath, included, "What did you put in my drink? I knew my drink tasted funny. Blaze, you're scaring me. I can't feel my legs. Let me see what's in your pockets."
And she was asking him to empty his pockets. And she was like, "Let me see what's in your pockets. Let me see." And he was like, "I don't have anything." So this whole time I'm like, Jade, like trying to get a response from her. So because I didn't get a response from her, I texted her and I was like, "Are you talking to me? What's going on?" And then she was like, "I know you put something in my drink because I can't even walk to drink." She was saying that she couldn't feel her legs.
You did this so something could happen to the baby. Those words were said more than once, repeated, to the person standing next to her, in the same room, during a call that lasted just over 6 minutes. Here is the question the record quietly places in front of you. When someone says those things out loud, directly to the person beside them, what is the reasonable range of responses? Blaze Taylor's documented responses were 2. When Jade said he was scaring her, he said, "You're scaring me." When she asked him to show her his pockets, he said, "I don't have anything." That is the complete record of what he said during 6 minutes and 9 seconds, in which the mother of his child told him she could not feel her legs and accused him of putting something in her drink.
And you said at the beginning, she said, "Blaze, you're scaring me."
Yes.
And you heard him respond. Did he respond to any of the other phrases that she was saying to him?
The only thing he responded to was when she said that he was scaring her. He then said, like, "You're scaring me." And then when he was asking her if she had when she was asking if he had anything in his pockets and for him to show her, he was like, "I don't have anything." And that was kind of all he said.
So you could hear him on that call.
Yes.
And that's all he said during that whole time that Jade made all of those statements. That
Yes.
she couldn't feel her legs, and she's asking him, "What's in your hand? Show me your pockets. What did you put in my drink? I knew my drink tasted funny." He did not provide a response to any of that.
No.
He did not say, "I'm calling for help." He did not say, "What is happening to you?" He said, "You're scaring me," and "I don't have anything." Then the phone hung up. Not by Jade.
And can you describe that call is a 6-minute and 9-second call? Kind of at what point, is it just at the end, those last few words that you really couldn't understand her?
Yes.
And you said you heard her say kind of 3 words. What were those again?
I heard "is," I heard "with," and I heard "key."
And did you try to connect that to what that could possibly mean?
Yes. I didn't understand what she was saying, but because she sounded so scared and Keontae was just there, we all call him Key. So I was like, okay, like, she's obviously scared, like, she needs him to help her because she's with another man and Keontae is a man. So when I added him on the phone, he's talking to her, and
Is she responding at all?
The phone hung up. Miss Jackson called back multiple times. Eventually, someone answered. It was Blaze Taylor. He now had Jade's phone.
At any time did you think that Jade Benning was saying those phrases to you?
no.
And you only importantly, you heard Mr. Taylor respond, and you heard her say too, Blaze, you're scaring me.
Yes.
How did that call end?
The phone hung up.
Did you hang up?
No.
He said he didn't know what was going on. He refused to FaceTime despite being asked several times. He said he was about to call 911, and then he asked whether Jade had an EpiPen.
And who answered it when you called back?
Blaze.
And can you describe what was said in that phone call?
I answered the phone, and he answered the phone, and I was like, Blaze, like, what's going on? What's going on? Like, FaceTime me. Like, let me see her. And he doesn't FaceTime me, but he tells me that he's about to call 911.
Did you ask him several times to FaceTime you?
Yes.
And you said that you asked him what was going on. Did he answer you?
He just kept saying, I don't know. I don't know.
Do you remember him saying anything else on that call?
There was a point where he asked me if she had an EpiPen.
Did that make any sense to you?
Not at all.
Did Jade have any allergies?
Not to my knowledge.
Jade Benning had no known allergies. The witness confirmed that directly. The EpiPen question, in that moment, is the kind of detail that produces silence in a courtroom. Not because someone objects, because no one needs to. This is the midpoint of what the record shows, and I want to be precise about something before we continue, because the most significant moment in this testimony has not happened yet. Miss Jackson drove to the apartment.
And were you still at the gas station, or what were you doing?
I was on the interstate trying to get to Jade's apartment.
And did you make it to Jade's apartment?
Yes.
And can you describe when you got there what was going on?
When I pulled up, the ambulance was already outside. Jade was already in the truck. Her head was to the side. And they were doing CPR.
She arrived to find the ambulance already there. Jade was already inside the vehicle. Her head was to the side. CPR was in progress. She was pale, still in the same pajamas, unconscious.
So I'm still on the phone with Bridget at this point, and I'm trying to give her something, but I can't see her face. She's just really pale. She still has on the pajamas that she was wearing when I left. And Blaze is going back and forth, and I'm just like, what happened? What happened? And then the EMT comes around and tells me that we all need to go to Vanderbilt.
Could you tell if Jade Benning was conscious?
No.
Did she look conscious?
No.
And you said that you saw Mr. Taylor going back and forth. Can you describe what was his demeanor like when you saw him by the ambulance outside?
It was just like very anxious, kind of panicky, but he couldn't answer. He couldn't tell me what was going on, what was said. Like, I had no idea what he even called 911 and said at this point in time. And when they tell us to leave, then we both leave and meet them at the ER.
Blaze Taylor was outside, going back and forth near the ambulance. Panicky was the word the witness used. Anxious, unable to tell her what had happened or what he had said when he called 911. She had no information. He offered none. They were told to go to Vanderbilt.
What was his demeanor? It was not looking for comfort. It was almost like he was just trying to figure out what was going on, but not necessarily.
Okay, by demeanor, she's talking about emotions or quiet, not what your interpretation of.
Okay, was not crying. His demeanor was very calm per se, but more in terms of like trying to figure out what was going on, but not about the status of Jade.
They drove separately. They met in the parking lot, and then they walked to the check-in desk together. The staff asked who they were there to see. Miss Jackson said, Jade Benning, my best friend. Blaze Taylor said she was his girlfriend. The witness testified she had never heard him use that word for Jade before that night.
Did he tell them anything about what happened?
The check-in?
Yes.
No.
But you said he referred to her as his girlfriend.
Yes.
Did you believe them to be in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship?
No.
The staff then asked him, since this was his girlfriend, what was her date of birth? He could not tell them. Stop there. He had just claimed the relationship in the one setting where that claim had real consequence, where it would determine who received medical updates, who had standing to make decisions, who the staff would turn to. He claimed it at the precise moment the claim would grant him access and authority. And then, when asked to demonstrate the most elementary knowledge associated with that claim, he had nothing. Miss Jackson provided the date of birth. He claimed the relationship. She proved it.
I was asking him what was going on, like what happened. He kind of wasn't really giving me anything. He kind of explained a little bit like that she just didn't feel good. And at this point, Keontae then calls again, and he's asking what's going on. And I'm obviously very flustered and upset, and Keontae then asks to speak to Blaze.
And did you give the phone to Keontae?
Yes. Well, to Blaze.
Can you describe, you said that Mr. Taylor said that Miss Benning wasn't feeling well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember anything specific he said about that?
He said that she felt woozy. He said that she felt woozy and needed to lie down.
Later, in a hospital room, when Miss Jackson told him what she had heard Jade say on that phone call, the accusations, the drink, the baby, his response, given under oath by the witness who was present, was, "You act like you care about her more than I do, and that's the mother of my child."
At some point, did you tell him that?
I did.
And was he there when you told him?
Yes.
What, if anything, did he say when you told them what Jade said to you?
He started talking over me and then says, "You act like you care about her more than I do, and that's the mother of my child."
Can you explain what did that statement mean to you based off of what you knew?
Can you ask that one more time?
That statement, was that a normal statement or an unusual statement?
Your
Unusual.
Honor, I'm going to object. She's already stated she doesn't know Mr. Taylor. This was the first time she met him.
Okay.
The witness was asked whether that statement was normal or unusual. She said, unusual. Not alarming, not suspicious. Unusual. That precision is worth noting. She was not asked to interpret him. She was asked to describe her response to what he said. Courts do not ask witnesses to diagnose behavior. They ask witnesses to describe what happened. The interpretation belongs to the fact finder, a jury, a judge, the people in that room whose job it is to decide what the evidence means. What the witness provides is the raw material. The record is the argument. The verdict is the conclusion. Miss Jackson provided raw material with exceptional consistency. She confirmed that woozy was not a word she had ever heard Jade use.
That term woozy, was that something that was familiar to you?
No.
Is that something that Jade had she ever used that word?
No.
Did he say anything else about what happened?
He said that they danced, that they ate, they played games, and then they painted, and then she felt woozy and she needed to lie down, and that she threw up.
At what point, kind of in the progression of events that night, did he say that she threw up?
When other hospital staff came in and they were basically asking both of us kind of what happened from each of our perspectives, and when he's explaining it to someone, he then adds that in there. But I had known that she had thrown up prior to that statement.
She confirmed that Blaze did not mention Jade had thrown up until hospital staff were in the room asking questions, at which point he added it to his account. She confirmed she had to ask him multiple times what happened and received very little in return each time. None of those details required her to speculate. She simply described what she observed. The record assembled itself. Here is the lesson this case offers, and it applies far beyond this courtroom. When you are involved in a serious legal proceeding, as a witness, as a party, as anyone who may one day be asked to account for your actions, the record is always being built. Not just the formal record of sworn testimony, the record of your behavior in real time. What you did during a 6-minute phone call, what you said at a hospital desk, what you knew and what you could not produce when asked. Courts measure conduct. They measure what people do when the moment is real, not the narrative they construct afterward, not the claim they make at the desk, what they actually did, what they actually said, what they actually knew. The silent objection in this case was not filed in writing. It was not spoken aloud. It happened at a hospital check-in counter when a man who said a woman was his girlfriend could not tell anyone when she was born. The woman standing next to him, who made no such claim, answered immediately. The record filed that objection. It will speak as long as the transcript exists. Like this video if the evidence spoke clearly enough. Share it with someone who understands why the quiet details are always the ones that matter most. Subscribe to the Silent Objection and turn on notifications, because the next case is already in the record, and the evidence is already waiting to be heard.